Hey guys, this is IntroducingEmy and we're back with another Redline Tuesday. This one was sent to us by MasauMeh at tumblr.com or .tumblr.com. So if you want more of that, go over there. And this is their handwriting. Not mine, but it was there and I thought I'd use it. So there you go. Alright, so we are doing a werewolf. And I'm actually going to build this one a little differently than I normally do. Turn up my line correction a teeny tiny bit. The only reason I'm going to build this one a little differently is because I am not awesome at digigrade or digigrade. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I've actually never heard it pronounced, but it's feet like this, legs like this, where it's like doot doot doot. So, yeah, I'm gonna kind of build this loosey-goosey, you know, and try to give you something halfway decent. Which, it's funny because I actually have a character in my comic who walks like this. He's like got big bunny feet. I feel like this can already be a little higher. So this foot is supposed to be back. Okay. So there you go. Put that foot back a little bit. I guess this isn't like super... This is somewhere between like borderline plantigrade and digigrade. I'm going to say it like digi, but I don't know if that's... Somebody's going to be like, nope. Whoop. I just heard a dog shaking her head. I used to do a lot of furry art in college on commission, and once in a blue moon I had somebody have a character like this, but I can't think of any specifically. I think I did a kangaroo once that kind of looked like had these kind of legs, but okie dokie. So rather than have the arm up like this, he's almost like or she, I'm not sure what gender this werewolf is, but they are almost twisting it in backwards. I would recommend keeping the arm maybe twisted out a little more. I'm trying to think of a... maybe something like that. Though I think I just made this arm a little longer, a little bigger than the other one. Let's try something like that. I can always come back to it. Let's move in on the belly meats. So I realized they probably don't have a belly button anymore. If they did, I'm pretty sure this is a werewolf, but something gave me that impression. I would do like a little sort of implication of where a belly button might be, just to help keep your body landmarks. And I think I gave him a little bit too much paunch there. Okay, so if you were to draw this fellow or madame without their clothes, you could just sort of ignore this little belly button indentation, but for now we are going to leave it there. And I think I might have slanted the pectoral region a little bit too much. Okay. I don't know, I get a little fixated on hands and stuff. I can make this look way better though. Now, I'm giving them a little bit of like a furry heel here, or like a pointed heel. I don't know what. And now this is your woofy design, but if this was me, I would put a little dew claw somewhere. It also kind of helps like visualize the orientation of the foot. Maybe something like that. I have a friend, she can draw feet like this. That would just knock you out of the park. Knock me out of the park. She draws some good pupper feet. Okay. So I'm going to mirror this, and I know this always bugs people when I do this, but here we go. So let's draw our center line to help sculpt our face. Now, I'm not working from like a reference of a wolf head or anything like that. I'm just kind of doing my human landmarks, and then I'm gonna like smoosh woof features on there. I would recommend actually getting a reference, though I'm just being kind of lazy about it. And also I want to sort of go borderline into the fantastical, so we will see what we come up with. If it's really atrocious, I'll just pause the video and go grab a reference. So let's do some eyebrows. Now, there's really no way to get like super masterful at like mirroring the side of an unusual face like this, like mirroring this to the other side without doing a lot of landmarks and a lot of practice. and I might even struggle for a minute here. And rather than doing like just a rectangle, I'm gonna try to build more of like a diamond kind of shape or something to just change up the top of the nose a little bit. So maybe something like that. I'm also going to raise the ears up just a little higher so that they don't stop right at the crest of this hair. And also just to make it a little more dynamic of a silhouette, maybe. I think I'm also going to warp this a little teeny tiny bit because I think it's a little too pushed out maybe. Like it's trying too hard to go in a certain angle and it looks strange and uncomfortable, so I'm just going to kind of... So I went from that to that. Okay, so it's just like settled a little more on the head. Okay, I think I'm kind of figuring this out. There we go. Okay, sorry, I was just seeing what that looked like. Looked like garbage, that's what it looked like. Didn't like it. Got rid of it. Said no ma'am. I think his head might be a little big. I don't know. It's like, I know I've mentioned this in other videos before, but if the hand is like bigger than the face, then it's probably a little big. But this is like one of those times where it's, you know, it's like a fantastical fantasy creature. I'm sure that there's some point where the head starts to look too big, but even like, well, let me finish going over this and then I'll kind of show you what I mean, like what I like the size I might do if this was my drawing. But let's do some hair. So remember, these lines are more to help me kind of find the flow back to the head. You don't necessarily need to ink those. They're just kind of there for implication. I would recommend having the hair kind of go like mohawk its way up the skull just a teeny tiny bit to like echo the hairline of a human. And also so it doesn't look like it's just kind of glued to the back of the head. Should I put that there? What is that? Is that like a thing that I should do? I don't know what that is. It reminds me of like one of those, like when they have, oh, what do you call them? Like an eyewitness on like a news show, and they block out their eyes so you don't know the identity, or like old medical photos do that a lot. Just having to think about what that was. Okay, anyway, so I don't know if these luscious locks flow down into the tail, but I'll just sort of go for it. The tail would be, I'm just trying to think. The tail would flow out of, I think, about that point on the back. So something like, I'm pulling the tail up off the ground around this foot just because I'm trying to make the silhouette a little more pronounced. I worry that I haven't been focusing so much on silhouettes, and I don't want you guys to think I'm like art scum for not doing that. So putting some little floofs. Maybe we could even bulk them up a little bit. Yeah, sorry these hands aren't like the most beauteous of hands. They're a little neglected, I'll admit. Alright. I think we're looking good here. Oh, and I'll show you real quick what I want to do with the head. So, let me take this whole area, whole clavicle, neck, head area, and just do a little something like that. And let me turn off. Oh, I can't once I go into that mode. Okay, let me just take it down to the red against the blue so that I'm not distracted by the original. I'm looking at my navigator, see how small I want to go here. Okay. Nice. Okay, so that is a little more, oof, those feet. That foot in particular. Shush, I'm fixing a foot. 1 sec and I'll get back to the... Here we go, just like a little patchwork there. Yeah, I don't like that these toes are more floofed than these toes. It's bothering me. It is bothering me. Just trying to get these toes up a little more. Okay, something like that. Whatever. Okay, so I made the head and all this a little smaller, and Now that I'm looking at it still, I might even raise pecs up a little more. There's our rib cage. Okay, so let's make this white for the time being, and it's a subtle size difference, but I think it's a quality difference. I would also say maybe that arm got a little long or broken or something in my attempt to change up the pose here. Sorry, I'm kind of just fluffing it now. I'm not even like making big sweeping changes or anything. But anyway, so yeah, I would say we have tightened up this design a little bit. Makes me think of like a Digimon. Kinda. I'm not sure which one, but there's like one I'm thinking of. Sorry about the back and forth, I'm just checking. Oops. And I think the other thing I would do is maybe I should bulk up this leg a little more. It's a little sparse. Just a little more meatiness. Yeah. Oh, and let me flip it back to the way it was. Yeah. So I like it. Maybe define that brow a little more. Just remember to think of muzzles and stuff, even if you're like not like OMG best anthro artist ever. You can still think of all muzzles as like little boxes that come out of the face. And you can do this as your setup. And then eventually you'll kind of get to this point where you can sort of like eyeball the muzzles and you don't need to build them up quite this much. But like then from there you can, like a little woodworker, you can whittle it down, you can make your nose. So, oh, and I didn't do it, but from there you can like, you know, build the head and the eyes, and like you would like a person's face, all behind that. Okay? Just don't suck as much as I do right now. But yeah, muzzles are pretty easy once you build them out as like a shape. Rather than like overthinking it too much. They're not too bad. I used to struggle with them a lot. You know what I used to really struggle with, just as like an aside? The sort of Disney beak, like the duck beak that they use for like Donald and like Scrooge and all those characters. And I'd always wanted to be able to draw a beak like that, and I just couldn't figure it out. I was like, as a kid, like really, I don't know, this whole shape was like super hard for me. This looks a little more like Daffy, but you get the idea. Like, I don't know, I just had a really hard time figuring out this shape. And it's funny because recently, when I did Free Comic Book Day, a kid asked me to draw Scrooge McDuck for him on his comic cover, and I did it like without any references, and it turned out really good. And it's like I just needed, and I hadn't drawn one since I was like 13 or 14 when I was really into Darkwing Duck, and it's crazy how time just helps you grow. Alright, so I think that's gonna do it for this one. As an aside, Dave broke his toe over the weekend, so I'm having to pick up the slack on a lot of different things, like the chores, and he has to go to like 2 different doctor's appointments, and yeah, there's just like a lot of stuff happening this week. So if you read my webcomic, it might be a little slow right now. I'm sorry, but everything is gonna go up by Thursday this week, so I don't know what day that is, but that will, the 4th. Thursday the 4th, stuff will start happening again. It's just, while Dave has his broken toe, I need to do some commissions, to get some money, and some other things, so yeah, I apologize for little delays here and there. Alright, keep sending your Redline Tuesdays in to emmy.binner@introducingemy.com, and you can find that email in my YouTube banner and all around YouTube and beyond. So, yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye!